Howdy folks, if you click this video, you're either new to No Man's Sky and interested in knowing the best strats to get started and have fun, or you're a longtime player who just wants to make sure you're not doing anything too stupid. Or maybe you saw all this awesome stuff in the trailers so you bought the game, only to spend your time mining and collecting resources. In every case, you've come to the right place. I've been playing No Man's Sky since day one, 2016. And in all that time, I've figured out a few tricks to make the game more fun without cheapening the experience. Wink wink. I'm Kanaju, and these are my 10 essential tips for No Man's Sky that any player can use. It's actually more than 10 tips since I can't help myself, but it's all super helpful, I promise. So be sure to stick around for number 1 because I couldn't play without it. Okay, let's start with one of the great truths of the universe. The No Man's Sky universe, that is. Number 10. Launch fuel is a ripoff. Waste of time, waste of materials, and probably a waste of money. Now I get it. You need fuel to launch your Starship, and Starship launch fuel seems like the logical resource to use. Sure, that makes sense, but there is a much more efficient fuel you can often find just lying on the ground. Uranium. Found on irradiated planets, uranium is the best way to keep your ship fueled. Firstly, it works right out of the box, no assembly required. It's also super easy to acquire. It can be mined on radioactive planets or purchased from terminals and traders in systems with radioactive planets. Buy a sizable stack and you'll be set for several hours of gameplay, maybe even more. And it doesn't take much to fill your ship, so almost any amount is useful. Also, once you get some nanites to spend, it's worth investing in the Launch Auto Charger Blueprint. With this upgrade installed, your launch systems will automatically refuel while you explore planet's surface. I can vouch for it because I have it installed and I rarely refuel my Starship launch system. Seriously, I don't even recharge it every play session. Part of that is my insistence on using free parking when possible. So if you're low on fuel, look for a free landing pad, indicated by a blue funnel which turns green when you're ready to land. If you land there, it costs 0 fuel to launch again. Yay, free stuff. Speaking of non-free stuff though, pro tip number 9, buy everything. Obviously not literally, but I'm not kidding. Buy ferrite dust, buy cobalt, buy wiring looms, buy uranium, tritium, anything you might need later, buy it. The reason I say this is because in the past, I've seen plenty of YouTubers complain that No Man's Sky is grindy, because they're always having to craft launch fuel, which requires mining lots of materials. Firstly, you can buy launch fuel in the store. Just do that and save the time of gathering materials and crafting. Or even better, just buy uranium. Either way, spend money, not time, to collect what you need. If you feel like you're spending a lot of your playtime mining or gathering materials, you should know that I probably spend less than 5% of my game time doing the same. I almost never bother with it because I buy what I need. Money is extremely easy to come by in No Man's Sky, and you'll soon end up with more than you know what to do with. Depending on your individual difficulty settings, certain materials such as sodium may not be available, but you can still purchase most stuff. And if your local trade terminal doesn't have something, try the pilots nearby. They usually carry different stuff you can't find in regular shops. Seriously though, even if you don't finish this video, I hope you remember to check shops regularly and buy in bulk. I always have whatever I need whenever I need it. Not because I've spent dozens of hours mining, though I did in my early days, but it's because I buy and hoard stuff. It makes crafting and building real easy, and it frees up my limited playtime for more engaging pursuits. Remember, spend units, not time. Also, bonus tip, you can use the Assistant for No Man's Sky app to look up materials and see what refiner recipes generate them. So maybe you can't get dihydrogen in a store, but you can buy a whole bunch of dihydrogen jelly, throw it in a refiner, and in a few seconds you have all the dihydrogen you could possibly want. It's one extra step, but it's still a lot faster than trying to mine all that yourself. Alright, number 8. The danger indicator. Believe it or not, there are a couple of benefits to flying your Starship in first person. One of them being the 3D radar, another being the power distribution screen in combat. However, the most useful tool in your cockpit is this circle right here. For those unaware, that's a pirate early detection system. When that circle starts moving, that means you're about to be scanned. It's usually pirates, but sometimes it can be station authorities scanning you.
It can also mean that a bounty target is about to appear.
Either way, when the circle completes, that's when the scan occurs. So if you see that circle start moving, you have a few seconds to reach a space station, land on a planet, or call in your freighter if you wish to avoid a confrontation. You could also prep your cargo scan deflector. By the way, I recommend installing one of these if you hate conflict. You can deflect any scan with it, be it pirate or system police. Pro tip though, sometimes your deflector will fail, but don't give up. You can press the deflect button multiple times. Just keep pressing it until the scan is deflected. Simple, but effective. Number 7. One derelict per system. What I'm about to tell you may have been common knowledge when No Man's Sky Desolation released back in 2020, but nowadays it's not too obvious. If you're exploring derelict freighters, it's important to understand that each star system can only generate one freighter layout. So if you explore a derelict freighter and then try to explore another in the same system, it'll have the same layout and the same upgrade class reward. This is just a limitation of the engine. What's great about this is that if you find a derelict that rewards S-class upgrade modules, you can explore more derelicts within the same system for more S-class rewards. It also makes it possible to share those S-class coordinates with others. However, if you receive a C-class module at the end of a derelict, you'll need to warp elsewhere to find better rewards. While we're here, this principle applies to lots of stuff. Each system has a set number of different starship and freighter designs. So if you feel like you're seeing a lot of the same ships flying around, it's probably because you've been in the same system for a while. Keep warping for new sights and experiences. Number 6. Portal glyphs appear in photo mode. This one's pretty simple. You used to have to visit a portal, charge it up, and request the address of the planet you're standing on in order to obtain its portal address. Nowadays though, you can simply open up photo mode and the address will appear in the bottom left corner. If you hide the menu, the glyphs will disappear too. However, if you simply wait and allow the menu to fade on its own, the glyphs will stay on screen for your screenshot. It's the easiest way to share your galactic coordinates with others. Just be sure to mention which galaxy you're in when sharing portal addresses online. Portal addresses lead to different planets depending on the galaxy. Bonus fact: if you have a planet you've previously visited and want to return to, but don't know how to reach it, if you can find its entry in the Discovery menu, you can simply add it to your Custom Wonders catalog. Once you do, its glyphs will be displayed in the Wonders catalog, and then you can simply use a portal to reach it. Number 5. Don't get stranded. While a lot of the fun of No Man's Sky is getting stranded somewhere and having to improvise, if you have better things to do, it can get frustrating. You can summon your starship to you at any time as long as its launch thrusters are fueled. But let's be honest, sometimes we forget to recharge them before heading out on foot. Before you know it, you've walked 30 minutes, and now you can't summon your ship. That will be quite a hike back. So, pro tip, ensure your ship is fueled before going on an extended hike. However, if you didn't, there are a few other things you can try. If you own multiple ships, you can call another from your collection to pick you up. You can then recover your other ship in your freighter or the space anomaly. You don't lose it. If there's a building with a landing pad nearby, you can also use navigation data to call your starship, even if it's out of fuel. You can then take off without using fuel. Very convenient. Fun fact, if you have the launch auto charger installed as I recommended, this will never happen to you, as the longer you've walked, the more your ship would have recharged automatically. Great tech. Bonus tip, if you're in the middle of the ocean and it would take forever to get back to your ship, there is another way. You can use your terrain manipulator to build a small island and call your starship to your present location. No Man's Sky may not be an immersive sim in the strictest sense, but as you can see, there are often different solutions to seemingly straightforward problems. It's all about experimenting and seeing what you can get away with. Number 4. Upgrade your inventory. This one seems obvious, but it's good advice nonetheless. The amount of inventory you have can affect your gameplay experience. Each space station has one inventory upgrade station, one-time use, so you can upgrade once per warp. But is that all you can do? Well, the Space Anomaly also has an inventory upgrade that works on the same principle, one upgrade per system. So if you visit the anomaly in each system you visit, you can grab 2 upgrades per system without much effort. However, if you're willing to put in a little extra footwork, you can also purchase exosuit upgrade charts from the space station cartographer. These will instantly locate a drop pod, which allows you to upgrade your exosuit inventory once repaired. You can also locate drop pods with your exocraft scanner. Again, lots of ways to upgrade your exosuit inventory. For your other inventories, you can salvage crashed starships for a chance at free starship inventory upgrades. Completing Derelict Freighters or salvaging crashed freighters can yield freighter inventory upgrades. Saving freighters from pirates or attacking them yourself can also return such rewards, not to mention Nexus missions and mission board missions. Also, pro tip, make sure you build storage rooms on your freighter. Once you install a matter beam, you can access all of that inventory remotely, as long as the freighter is in your system. Easy as pie. Number 3, make some money. Now, you may have noticed a few of these pro strats require some cash to get going. Luckily, money is pretty easy to come by in No Man's Sky. Adding S-Class upgrades to your scanner and scanning animals is probably the easiest quote-unquote passive income you can make. You'll get hundreds of thousands of units per animal scanned. Completing space station missions is another great way to earn cash. You can even stack similar missions. Check the mission board for non-specific missions such as scan minerals, kill predators, or destroy sentinels. Take on as many of those as you can, even if you're not planning to complete it immediately. Since they're tasks that can be completed on any planet, you'll probably automatically complete them as you play anyway. And since you can have multiple of the same kind in your log at a time, you can complete multiple at a time. For example, if you have 3 missions that each require you to destroy 5 sentinels, well, once you destroy 5, you'll actually complete all 3 of those missions simultaneously. You can then collect your reward from any space station. Archaeology, Starship and Freighter salvage, treasure hunting, bounty hunting, Nexus missions, farming, building automated mines, managing your fleet, there are plenty of ways to earn units in No Man's Sky. It's just a matter of finding something that fits your playstyle. Pro tip number 2. Disable PvP. Seriously, unless you plan on fighting other players for fun, I would disable it. Most players aren't aware that it's on by default. PvP, or player versus player, basically means that you can harm other players and they can harm you. Most players won't bother you, however, there are a select few who have nothing better to do than pick on weaker players. They often have min-maxed equipment and can kill a low-level player in a matter of seconds. You can be petting an animal on a beach somewhere, and they can bombard you from their starship like half a mile away. You won't be able to retaliate in time. And this is especially important advice if you're playing an expedition right now, because chances are you'll be in a populated system with a low-level character. If you're up for the challenge though, feel free to leave it enabled. You can also enable or disable it later with no penalties, so don't feel like you're locked into anything either way. While you're in the multiplayer settings menu, take a look at build permissions and visibility as well. Lots of preferences you may want to adjust. Alright, before I get to my number 1 pro tip, I would like to kindly ask you to like the video if you found it helpful at all. The YouTube algorithm decides whether or not people will see this video, and lucky you get to decide whether or not the algorithm should share it. Any support is appreciated. While you're doing that, here's a bonus tip. Warp Hypercores are way better than warp cells. They require storm crystals, but are otherwise just as easy to craft, and they last so much longer. Trust me. Okay, now let's finish this. Number 1, Melee Boost. It's the most essential move in any No Man's Sky player's moveset. It's the Melee Boost. Sometimes called by other names, but a rose by any other name smells just as sweet. Melee boosting is the fastest way to travel on foot, so to speak. It's way faster than sprinting. Let me break down how to do it. Your melee attack pushes your character forward a short distance very quickly, right? So for this technique, we'll be taking advantage of that momentum. You begin by sprinting, and then you hit the melee button. As soon as your character thrusts forward, you'll press and hold the jump button. If you time it just right, your character's forward momentum from the melee attack will carry your now flying body across the landscape faster than ever before. Bonus points if you can get it just over the edge of a hill or a ledge. After that, you can sort of release and tap the jump button to make your boost last longer. Combined with an upgraded jetpack, and you'll be flying across the surface of planets. If you're not into exploits, don't worry. It's an actual feature with its own animations in third person. It's just never mentioned at any point in the game. It's the kind of thing you either figure out, or more likely, learn from someone else. Fair warning, once you get used to it, you'll be using it constantly. It's my #1 tip since I can't imagine playing without it. Longtime players will agree with me in the comments below. Speaking of which, that's my list of essential tips every No Man's Sky player should know. I tried to compile stuff that any player at any level might benefit from. Of course, there are plenty of other ways to play, so make sure you experiment and find out what works best for you. No Man's Sky doesn't do a lot of hand-holding, so sometimes it's up to you to
Ask questions
and seek those answers. Speaking of which, leave any pro tips you might have in the comments below, and let me know if you found these helpful. Leaving a like also lets me know you found it helpful. I don't often create guides or tip videos, but with so many new players exploring the universe after No Man's Sky Echoes, I thought I might have something to offer. If you're interested in more No Man's Sky content, and the occasional Assassin's Creed video, don't hate me, then why not consider subscribing? I don't spam uploads, and I only produce content that I enjoy and think others would enjoy too. Plus, you can always unsubscribe later if you want. I'm looking at you, 90% of the audience that isn't subscribed despite a large percentage of you being repeat viewers. You know who you are. But honestly, thanks for watching. Even that much support helps. And either way, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!